Morning YouTube. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Whenever you do get to watch this, over here at the mill today, little late morning. I slept in. Yep, just so you know. That's the first time I've slept really in a while. So yeah. Anyway, today is not Sawmill Sunday. Today is Monday. We was over here yesterday and we did saw some. I'm so sorry we did not get it recorded. We did try out our new hydraulic system. For those of you who are a little new to it, I'll show you kind of the overview of what I got going on. Basically, I got a high torque, low RPM motor right there. And I got my control, and then I run over here and I got my tank, and I got my pump. Now this is a two-stage log splitter pump. So basically, the number one question I've been getting a lot of is how I thought that pump, being a two-stage, was going to react with moving logs through the mill. I'm almost certain that that's already kicking into the second stage just to run that high torque motor. I'm not 100% because I don't totally grasp the whole concept of it. I know the basics of this stuff. But the reason I say that is this motor is supposed to run, is capable of running like 92 RPMs. That is its max RPM range. Right now this motor ain't running but 30. Loaded or not, 30 is where she's at. So I'm thinking that pump is already going into its second stage right off the bat. I have no idea why. Only thing I can figure is it was a pump designed to run a cylinder, not really a motor, so it's putting a little bit of pressure on it. That being said, as of right now, it does works fine. I've put logs through the mill, she saws, everything's great, grand. I got me a little control lever here. How you guys like that? That's an old axe handle that busted many different times and was taped up. And so yeah, but basically the only thing that's really different as far as the feel of it initially is you're going, most all mills that I've been around, you pull the lever back towards you to get the carriage to go through the saw, right? So you're pulling backwards and it'll take the carriage that way. This one is exact opposite of that. Now that's not a big deal. You can switch hoses or whatever. It's just more neatly look the way I got it. That is all been said so that I can say this. This thing is slow. Like, going through the log, for a big log, it's about perfect speed. Wide open is about perfect. Like, that's where you want it. Slow but steady, right? I do like the smoothness of it. Like, there isn't none of this, zip through the soft spots and then bog down in the hard spots. For sawing white pine, anybody that's ever sawed it, or has for me anyway, on the belt system, you'd be sawing, it'd struggle, and all of a sudden, you pull a little harder to get it to go on through the knot, and because your belts is slipping, and then all of a sudden it'll zip through like a foot and then cram into the next knot. I didn't like that, and I didn't like my belts crawling one another. My belts were real bad about wanting to jump off and crawl the other one. I know that could probably be an easy fix, but I also had a problem with the belts catching traction when it was back here and I was trying to move a log, so I was always putting something under it. If you've watched any of the other videos, you've seen me doing that. I hated that, but I also am really aggravated with how slow this thing is. Now that's partly my fault because I wasn't sure what speed I needed to be running. I wasn't sure exactly how fast the thing was going to go. Right now I'm running an 11 tooth sprocket on the motor and a 14 tooth sprocket on the shaft for the drum controls. Now it's already going through another set of gears on back in there, so it's already gearing it even lower again. So this right here, gear ratio is like even lower. It's about a 2.5 to 3 inch diameter. So what I got coming, hopefully be here today or tomorrow, is I got a 24 tooth, which is a 5-inch, which should, in theory, and this is all theoretical, double my speed at wide open. So that should give me a little bit more control over, push it a little bit, not quite all the way in, and slow it down. And then on my return, I can speed it up at full blast, and it'll truck on back here to get the next log. Because that's one of the biggest things. Is once I get that board sawed, you want it to come on back to you, so you can start sawing the next one. Well, this thing's like crawling backwards. I'll get a little video of that and show you. I mean, it's smooth. I do like that. I like how smooth it goes through the saw. Everything is sawing great. I sawed, like I say, a few 2x6s yesterday. You can see, whoop, camera dysfunction. I don't know where. There we go. Okay, so you can see right here, all these teeth marks are even. I really like that. There's no jumping around. I want to show you, like, this is the speed of which it should be. It could be a little less than this. This is a little fast. Right about here is about right. Half to 3/4 of an inch. But everywhere you see a knot, it jumps sometimes. So that really throws everything out of whack. I didn't like that. I like the steady speed of the hydraulics. And like I say, the saw is, ever since I put the new mandrel on, that fixed it. That really did. I mean, it's an older mandrel, but it's straight, so that's the upside. It sawed some really nice white pine 2x6s here yesterday. They stayed even. They was exactly, I mean, from one end to the other, I think the most difference I found was a 1/16 in a 14-foot span. I'm not going to complain about 1/16, guys. I really ain't. I mean, the log will give a little bit when you're sawing it. It relaxes and does its own thing sometimes, so I'm really not going to complain about that. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I will sometime today. I got some work to do down at the house spot. I'm going to do a little digging, and I got a few other little things I'm going to do. Those videos don't seem to get much traction. If y'all want to see, the update on how the digging's going, it's slow, really slow. That stuff is hard that we're digging in, and we're only digging a couple hours a day when we are digging. So, I mean, the old backhoe that we're using, it gets hot. So about 2 to 3 hours is all you're going to get out of it a day, and then we kind of let it rest for a day. So, like I say, it's slow, but we're getting there. We're pretty close to where we need to be as far as depth. And then it'll be a matter of digging an actual footing ring for the concrete to go in, and then the expensive stuff comes, the cinder block and all that good stuff. I'm going to try to saw as much of this house out as I possibly can. So there's going to be a lot of 8-foot 2x6s. We did start looking around. I actually have a lot of white pine that's already been cut. Some of it is wormy, really got some of the worms up, but a lot of it don't. So what we thought about doing is a good portion of it's already cut into 2x6s. So we've really considered going through our stacks, setting them back on the mill, and milling them down to 2x6s, giving me, because they've been drying for like a year, and putting all the square caints. I got a stack of one stack here. Small stack, and then I got several stacks. I don't know if you guys can see way over there. But we thought about putting those back on the mill, like I say, and sawing some 2x6s out of them. And that way we could probably get enough to at least frame out all the external wall on the place. That might save some. I'm going to do some calling and see if I can sheet my walls the way they used to years ago with actual boards. And if I can sheet my walls, because in this county they're doing something where you have to basically, it's almost got to be airtight. They want caulking around a bunch of any cracks or anything like that, and Anybody knows when you put the walls up, they're going to be cracks. Now I'm going to be double layering it, but still there's going to have cracks in it. So they're wanting all that, yeah, sealed up. So I don't know if the cost effectiveness of cutting all the boards and then going and buying that much caulking is going to really pan out versus the plywood. Plywood is through the roof right now though, so who knows. So we're just going to play with that idea for right now, but we're definitely going to do as much of our stud work as possible out of our own stuff, because I want true 2x6 studs. I might be willing to go 2x5.5. Only reason I would go that is standard doors, windows, things like that that already have frames in them. In the future, if you ever did want to, you wouldn't have to make a custom frame for everything. 5.5 is the standard, so I would go that because it's not that much difference, but I definitely still want to try to keep it as close to the 2-inch thickness as I can, especially using white pine. But yeah, that's just a little update on what we got going on. Like I say, I'll catch a little video later of the mill running and actually moving and show you guys how slow it is. I mean, it's just too slow for what I want. I want a little more speed out of it. We did start, I'm going to start working on this a little here and there, just over evenings. On our dump bed, we started stripping the metal off of it. We're going to probably try to clean all this up and resheet it. You can see my oil, the hydraulic tank sitting there, but I'm going to try to resheet it because my bed is only 3-inch channel and this is 4-inch. I really like to keep that 4-inch channel, but we're getting down. We got one full sheet off and part of another, and we'll hopefully try to get some either more sheet metal and put on it, or this camera, the lighting in here around here is terrible right now. The sun's back that way. Or I've thought about putting wood on it. I really have, but I'm back and forth on the wood because I don't want the wood to rot the frame metal out. I don't think it'll be terrible, but it might. That's what rotted all this original stuff out. Once I started taking it loose, is they had 2x6s laid down around the whole outer ring of it, and that's what rotted all that out. Plus, once I started actually cutting into this, this is super thin. I'm not even sure what gauge it is, but it's like 16th inch thick. It's not very thick at all. I'm going to try to replace it with 1/8 if I can get it at a decent enough price. I don't mind putting a little money in it because I plan on keeping it, but I don't want to go totally broke with everything either. So yeah, I want to thank everybody that's been subscribing here lately. We've been kind of bumping those numbers pretty quick. Just a quick shout out to y'all. Awesome, thank you. Thanks for all the comments. We try to comment back at least once a week. We try to get on there and comment everything back because, I mean, you know, we're not no million subscriber channel yet. But I mean, I'm tickled with how many we do got. I really thank y'all. Thanks for watching, all that good stuff, and subscribing. Share these videos with anybody you think might like them. I do plan on doing more sawing. When I get my new sprocket in, I will do a little video on changing that sprocket out and show you the speed difference, hopefully the before and after. And we'll probably do a little video like that. I'm fingers crossed that we get some better speed out of it, and we'll be able to really turn up the saw. Because I got a small load of logs on the truck right now, just a little load, and I got some still on the carriage, and I got a couple back here that I'm probably going to saw up into just boards. They got worms in them. I know they do. They're junk in that sense, but for chicken houses and barns and sheds and stuff like that, the worm holes is not going to hurt anything. Cut it a little thick and let it ride. I was actually in a restaurant. Now get this. I took my wife to a restaurant here not long ago, well, for our anniversary, and we're looking around. We noticed a lot of white pine, and the reason I noticed is because I'm, you know, currently was sawing a bunch, and they got their main support beam. Now this is a nicer like restaurant, you know, it's nothing like, you know, New York or nothing like that, but this is still a higher end restaurant. but a decent price. It's set up like an old Western theme and stuff, and right down the middle of it is a main support beam. This thing's probably like an 8x12, and there's two of them, and they're white pine the full length of the actual seating area of the restaurant. And I started noticing that about every couple feet you could see a little wormhole, and the more I looked, the more wormholes I saw. So even in this nice of a restaurant, and we're talking like, you could tell this thing, they'd spent some major money on it, but you could tell that even with that, they still left the wormholes was in this main support beam holding this roof up. And everybody's sitting there, and probably 99% of the people didn't even notice that, but I noticed every little wormhole in that place from that point on. And there was a lot more than what I would have thought would have been in that nice of a restaurant. But anyway, it was still a good place. It was a great food. People were super nice, all that good stuff. So I ain't complaining about it or nothing. But I just thought it was funny that they had them too. But yeah, so like I say, I got a lot of wormy type stuff that's gonna get still sawed up. I'm gonna use it because let's face it, wood is too high to be going out and just buying. So use what you got, and if you have to replace it, you know what? That's why we got a sawmill. Just saw some more and replace it. I want to try to keep all that stuff out of the house, but on barns and stuff, replace it. I'm gonna offer a question to anybody that might know. I've been looking at possibly sawing my own fence posts. Now I have a lot of cedars on the property, but a lot of them I want to keep for right now. I want them to get bigger and all that stuff. But I'm thinking, and you guys might know, what is something really good other than burning it, because I've looked into burning it and I'm not against it, I'm just, other than that, what is something good that I can put on pine, softwood stuff? Like I got plenty of pine we can get a hold of, pole size pine. If I cut it into 6x6s or 4x4s, pine, heartwood, what is something good that I can coat that with, that I can put it in the ground and I can get 8 to 10 years out of? I mean, I'm not trying to look for a lifetime supply here. I understand that farming is all about replacing what goes bad, but I at least want more than a year out of it. So if you know anything that I can put on pine, now I'm not talking about hardwoods, I'm talking about just something I can soak pine in that isn't going to be like, detrimental to the cows or horses or nothing like that, that I can put in the ground and it give me 10, if it's longer, great, but 8 to 10 years, and it'll give me a good time frame. All right. Anyway, let me know in the comments, email, whatever, any ideas you might have. Thanks, guys. See y'all next time.